Guys, I am I don't know what. I think YouTube is out to sabotage me in some way. Honestly, I was gonna post a message, but then I thought, let me try. This is the second time it's happening. I've messaged YouTube to find out what is going on. I'm really sorry about this. Hopefully, a Friday night means that you guys can still join my. I feel like I'm being sabotaged. I am really sorry. Let me message everybody. How's everybody doing? Good evening. Apologies. I'm going to write to YouTube because I don't know what's going on. I keep having issues. I was supposed to start at 8. I got here at 7:50 and I couldn't get online. I just couldn't. Hi Amaka, hi Sons. Something is wrong. I've sent YouTube a message that I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, guys. This I think the third time it's happened now. I don't want to be dramatic and say they are trying to silence me, because I don't think it's that. Because if some of the more ridiculous people, outrageous people, can have their stuff going on. Oh, this light is not flattering. Oh my God, sorry. I'm just setting up, guys, because I was so worried I'll have to cancel this again, but I just said let me give it one more try. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Please drop a hello in the chat. Yeah, it's really annoying. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. And I've heard other creators complaining that there's something up with what. I'm just setting up everything. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all healthy. Honestly, my patience has been tried. I was ready to start, I would have been so pissed if we had to move this again. Let me just get set up. I'm too real. Maybe, maybe they don't like it. Maybe they want me to come here and be lying. That's not what I do. Sorry. I hope more of us can join. I don't know how many. Oh God, I feel horrible. But I didn't want to delay this again for another day. I was like, nah, absolutely no. Because guys, I had this setup planned. We're going to drag Vanessa Feltz. And I hope more of us can join the live. Just wait for a few minutes. How's everybody doing? Amaka, I know you said you're in the US. Sons, are you in the US as well? It's 9 o'clock. It's almost 10 here. So it wouldn't surprise me. A lot of my beautiful UK viewers are either not available, or they've gone to bed, or they've just gone to spend their Friday night, which is why I wanted to do it at 8. I'm really annoyed by this. I promise you. Because it would have been nice to have more of us here dragging everyone. Let me message everybody that, oh, I'm online. Come, let's do it. Let me see if we can get more people. Oh, Sons, hello. And you know what? Considering how late it is, thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate you. Are you guys following this Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing? It's like, because I think when I began the channel earlier in the year, that was my first courage. I said, let me offer my unwanted opinion about the whole thing. And it's just, guys, what do you think? It's a mess, right? Honestly, at this point, I am tired of entitled people. Hey, Chuku Emeke, how are you? Thank you for joining. I know it's late. Thank you guys for joining. And once again, for those of you who are just joining, I can only apologize. YouTube, this is the third time YouTube is messing with me. I was so worried that we wouldn't be able to have the live. Because I was like, what? I came here at 7:50. I tried to get online and I just couldn't. Please bear with me. I'm trying to get the YouTube set up again. So I just thought, let me give it one final try before I posted a message, and boom, it started working. I'm glad that, you know what, I'm luckily for me though, I don't think I'm the only creator experience. I've in the creator forums, people are complaining. I don't know what the hell is going on with YouTube. But yeah, we were talking about the we're talking about the we're talking about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I don't think it's funny, you know. I don't think it's funny what she's doing to that guy. How many of you guys were watching Jane the Virgin? Were you guys watching Jane the Virgin? So that's where I know Justin Baldoni from. And I don't know, I was team, what was his name? I was team him. Hey, Essex, subs. You know, I used to live in Essex. Me and my ex. Yeah, I used to live in Essex. But during the pandemic, I had to run out of there, no offense. I love you guys, but I was bored out of my mind. And during the pandemic, it drove me up the wall. It was so boring. Again, I love you guys. I love you, love you, love you. But I couldn't stay there. Dummy, hello. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm sorry. I just couldn't cope. It was so boring. It was during the pandemic, though. It was during the pandemic. Let me keep it 100. I did not play Fortnite. No. This is a look. This for those of you that I don't know how many of you are trolls in the chat, but I will get rid of you if you. I don't worry. I have my troll guard here. This chat is going to be about the Sussex squad, about Duchess Meghan. Actually, we're going to first of all drag the living S out of Vanessa Feltz. Did you guys see all my karma videos? Ha! What do you think about that? You see how they're all dropping like flies? You see? The business model of bashing somebody isn't fun anymore, is it? It's not making money anymore, is it? Losers. And I'm very happy to dance on all their miserable graves. Because do you know what? Do you know why I do what I do, guys? Because I am petty. It doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine putting screen light? I am Nigerian. Can you imagine putting a light on, focusing it on you? Of all the myriad of topics you can choose, you are bullying a woman day in and day out. I mean, do you know what? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's an outer body experience. To me, it just seems like utter and complete insanity. Like, it's insane. There are people I do not like. But the idea of talking about them every single day is, I don't even think, this has to be a new medical mental health condition. I'm serious. And the funny thing is, because people like, I don't know how many of you knew Meghan before she met Harry. I knew Meghan before she met Harry. So it blows my mind that Meghan from Suits is who they are talking about like this. I mean, to be fair, I didn't have any opinion about her one way or another. But I'm like, really? Meghan from Suits? Really? Yeah, but that's the question though. Hi, Vanity. Oh no, Vanity. Please stay. Okay, you know what, Vanity, please catch it later. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Please don't forget to watch it later because I am going to I have it queued up here. It will be hilarious. Yeah. No, I do not have a BBL. Because I'm black does not BBL make. Meghan is beautiful. Of course she's beautiful. I mean, come on now. Anybody with two functioning eyes can see that is an objectively, absolutely beautiful woman. Which is why they are all pressed and depressed. But I'm a woman. And I don't feel jealousy. So to me, it's kind of like an out-of-body experience. How do you just hate someone? Like, she hasn't spoken to you. She honestly hasn't done. Oh, thank you, Tyler. She hasn't done anything, and you're dragging her every day for what? And to me, what blows my mind is, okay, fine, you have a platform, but who are these trolls? Who are these miserable people, men and women, You know, it's like, what is wrong with you people? Like, how is this good? I don't. It's crazy. Do you know that if I change my channel in a week, if I start bashing Megan every day, I'm very sure my viewership will go up to like 5K, 10K. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Like, how desperate am I for viewers that I will start bashing a woman? What? Or anybody? Well, you say that. Some people deserve to be bashed daily. Elon Musk, Vanessa Feltz. I can list a number of people. Yes, a lot of people. But not Megan, for goodness sake. What did she do? What is her crime? And that's the part that pisses me off. But anyway, did you guys see my video about that? Is it Auntie Tom or Auntie Tomina, Esther Crackhead? She's blocked me. I actually went into her Twitter because I am petty. I went into, oh my God. Let me just remove the bots. I thought I could manage some of you. Abhishek, don't do that. He deserves to get dragged every day, by the hour, every hour. Elon Musk is an asshole. When you see, I have people, let me give you a real life scenario, right? I have a colleague I used to work with that's based in Germany from Pakistan. I have never, I left that role. I have never heard any human being say to me that they are scared to stay in Berlin, which I love actually, because of racism. Elon Musk started the whole anti-DEI movement. He used that platform that he had to denigrate and insult every person of color, especially black person that got a role, an elevated role. And frankly, everything bad happening to Elon is not enough, frankly, my mind. He deserves all the negativity, all the bad stuff in the world. I have no sympathy for that asshole. I wish him nothing but misery and pain. But yeah, that's Elon Musk for me. But yeah, Megan didn't do anything to anyone. Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the live dragging. I mean, Abhishek, look, like I said, look, in this world, I can see, because I'm an engineer, I can see why a lot of tech bros and girls like Elon. But me personally, because Elon is from South Africa and these white South Africans were raised with apartheid, it's very uncomfortable for them to see black people, especially black women, in roles that in their mind, the only thing they are good for are mommies, taking care of their children, and their trash. Go and read up about apartheid South Africa, which Elon is from, and you will see why I can't stand that. Let me just calm down. Oh, I'm a data engineer. I do a lot of cloud work. I'm currently doing some back-end engineering now with Basil. I have a tech channel that I'm going to build up. Okay, I think we have enough people. So for those of you that are joining, I know it's evening. Exactly, fuck Elon. Ooh, can I say fuck? F Elon. Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to my live. If you're new, hello. If you're old, hiya. Happy to see. Okay, you're there. You know, I'm building an ML Ops application, you know, with data bricks. We should talk, Abhishek. So, yes, guys, hiya. So, this evening, we are, hi, Joyce. How are you? Okay, yeah, the Americans and non-British people. Did you meet your... Oh my God. Anyway, for the trolls, I'll soon get rid of all of you. Don't worry. For everybody that has joined, hello, Joyce. Good evening. You've come just at the right time. I am about to press play. We are about to laugh at Vanessa Feltz. Now, for those of you who don't know who this cretin is, let me assault your senses with her mug. Let me get her face. Let me get Vanessa Feltz's ugly face for you. This is about to be a very mean live. Hey Zandile, shout out to Canada we her. For those of you that are sensitive, sadly, I'm about to drag the hell out of Vanessa, and we're all going to do it together. So let me assault your eyes with this That's a brown hand. Vanessa, for those of you who don't know, Vanessa likes to swirl, which actually makes this even more annoying to me because I don't know. I haven't seen her children before, so I don't know if she has biracial children. But check this out. This is Vanessa Feltz.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to episode 10 of With Love Vanessa, also entitled Elevate Your Table Manners.
So obviously she's mocking Megan, effing loser. Instead of her,
Prince catches your eye, you fasten your fingernails into his lapel with every ounce of strength that you possess in your small, dieted and exercised body. You cling, and if you play your cards beautifully, he might ask you over for dinner. Now, should that occur, the last thing you want to do is let yourself down by not showing the appropriate table manners, etiquette.
and that's enough of that. So, like I said, I'm showing her so that you know exactly who this B word is. This is actually even pretty decent. I haven't dragged. She hasn't shown you her worst yet, but it's just to give you a taste that she isn't some innocent victim that I am just dragging. She is anti Megan, and the funny thing is, this is Vanessa's story. Apparently, when I was a child in the 90s in the UK, Vanessa was some sort of big celebrity. Apparently, loser that she was, and I don't know what happened in the years, but she's clearly lost her celebrity status. But she was also very obese. So she unbigged her huge back and decided. And the funny thing is, she's in her 70s. So I would assume that somebody of her age would, have better things to do, use her age to, try and do better things for people. But that isn't what Vanessa wants to do. Oh no. Vanessa decided. Exactly, sons. Vanessa decided, you know what, I'm not going to do something that is respectful of my age. I can't imagine me in my 70s acting like a 15-year-old mean girl. In my 70s, especially if you had the type of, apparently she was quite successful in the 90s, so she could have afforded to buy her own house, she could have bought property, she could have invested. Somebody her age should be relaxing in Spain, you know, she could be relaxing in Spain, since she likes younger black men, getting a boy toy. She could have gone to Brazil, retire, gone to screw all the. Oh, thanks, Ruth. Gone to have sex with all the small boys that she wanted. But that's not what Vanessa decided to do. Vanessa decided that she's going to be a 70-something-year-old troll. So I thought, okay, you know what? Since you're not going to respect yourself, Vanessa, I'm going to drag you because I think the problem with all these derangers is they have been allowed for years to say terrible things about people and nobody, not one person. I mean, I'm not saying that we've not had Sussex channels. Of course we have. But people have not given them a taste of their own medicine. That's why they are feeling very bold. Sometimes you need to experience the slap in the face before you calm down. So today, guys, as a treat, we are going to watch a video right now with Vanessa's ex-boy toy, and I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the clip from the beginning. It looks promising. So let me just quickly get the video up. I want you guys to be as shady as possible in the comments. You don't have to even, like, I want Vanessa to watch this. I tagged her in the video. I'm going to tag her again. I want her to know that we are reacting to somebody mocking her. Of course, it's a racist thing, Abhishek. I will remove the comments. So I'm about to play it now. It's 1 hour, 44 minutes. I'm hoping that we are all about to be entertained. So yeah, guys, let's get started. I'm going to keep quiet now. I'm going to shut my mouth and I'll be commenting with us in the chat because we'll be watching together. So don't think I'm not going anywhere. I will be commenting in the chat. So let me share my screen. Racists are bad at racism. I agree, Abhishek. They're assholes. So just before the video starts, like I said, this is you are about to see Vanessa's ex. Okay. And let's get started.
Did you send her any nudes?
She started to get darker and darker.
You must have found it titillating. What's she like to live with?
For the first 6 years, she was great. She has a way of emasculating.
What things would she do to emasculate you?
When she's had a drink, she's quite, aggressive. The way she used to shout at me, the way she used to speak about me and speak to me. You imagine what she would be like behind closed doors. She'll say in public, I don't even think he can read.
That's like you being the dog.
My whole personality changed. I was just this black guy who was living off Vanessa. For me, she's a psychopath.
She won't like that.
There's a few things that I let slide. I was told twice that she'd been unfaithful to me by members of her family and her best friend.
If she sees this interview, will she come gunning for you again, do you think?
I couldn't care less.
So there's no love lost between you and Vanessa.
This kind of love rat, cheaty thing that everyone thinks that I am. I'm just so far from it.
How many women did you sleep with behind Vanessa's back?
Woo! Okay, let's get to it.
I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, Gold Seal. I use their products every single day, and now I finally get to work with them. I use their products for anti-inflammatory, reduced anxiety, better sleep, and mental clarity. I'm going to put a link to their website in the description, along with a 10% discount code for you to take advantage of. Go and have a look at their website, see if there's anything in there for you. I hope you enjoy this week's episode, and good health.
Ben,
Hey, how are you, Liam?
how the devil are you?
I'm good. I'm gassed to be here, man.
I'm thrilled that you're here. I mean, back in the day when I used to go clubbing, it was your voice that I would hear.
Oh, thank you very much.
What an era, and we're never going to get that era back again. And what a tune! I mean, we're going to cover facts and small.
Yeah.
We're going to cover a load of things. We're going to cover your recent stalker, which was been quite a serious police investigation, which I don't think you've been allowed to speak about until now. In fact, I think you're going to break your silence on that, irrespective of the police warning you not to.
Yeah.
Your relationship with Vanessa Feltz, fame, music, your life, and due to our little conversation in the green room, we'll slip a little bit of politics in there as well.
Why not?
But can we start?
Yeah.
Let's start with your stalker. Obviously, Baby Reindeer has been...
Nope, we don't care about that, guys. I'm gonna fast forward that crap. I don't
I
care.
don't mind. Ha ha ha. Sort of trying to make her feel comfortable.
Let me see if we get the Vanessa part.
Ask me something on social media or says, yeah, oh, you look nice or whatever. No. Friendship.
She chipped away at you.
Yeah. Such a private thing. I mean, I'm not wait till I was about 18 to see my first naked lady. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just,
Oh, this is the part that it starts, guys. Let's start.
and it was longer than normal, and it was just general things, I think too much. And then she sent me a nude. A people pleaser. So when someone asks me something on social media or says, yeah, oh, you look nice or whatever, no matter what, I'd always reply or say, oh, thank you and stuff like that. This girl, her name was Yelda, but she was calling herself Amel or something on social media, would get in touch every now and then and say, oh, you look nice, or
No. Where's the Vanessa part?
you look fine. I was really in deep water then, I suppose, really, but I wasn't really,
Because you're with Vanessa Feltz at this time, aren't you?
yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that. I mean, the truth is, I get hundreds of nudes. Every celebrity will tell you that people send them nude things. There's an obsession with people. I mean, people just seem to be sending, dick pics or their nude body. Like, it wasn't like that when I was growing up. It's just now, it just seems like a normal thing that everyone's doing, and they don't even care if they know you or they don't know you. They'll just do it. People are so open about it. I don't know why. Maybe that's the rise of pornography or something like that. I don't know what the reason is, but it's definitely a cultural thing that's happening where people are just fast and loose with their bodies, which used to be such a private thing. I mean, I'm not wait till I was about 18 to see my first naked lady. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just a weird thing. And then I said, no, that was bad. Then she sent me another one. And then the next day it was conversations and this and that. Then she sent me another one. Then we'd have another conversation, this and that. And so it was going on like that for months. And I thought she was an okay girl. I really did. I thought she was nice and stuff like that. And then we'd start talking, and then she'd say that she'd had a hard time with men and stuff like that. But it wasn't. I didn't think about it. I might get one message every 2 days or something like that.
But you knew you'd overstepped the mark.
I knew
the fact you was in a relationship.
I didn't really.
In hindsight.
In hindsight, well, no, I didn't really see it as overstepping the mark at the time because I thought I get nudes all the time and I just block them. I block them or I just don't.
But you didn't block this one.
I didn't block this one because we had a sort of friendship.
She chipped away at you.
Yeah. It's almost like she knew. Well, she didn't know what she was doing.
Dare I say the word? She was in the grooming process.
Yeah, I think so. They know exactly what they're doing. They even know the law. They know what they can and can't do and can't say and whatever. And so she kept on sending news, but we still having a conversation. She kept on saying she'd been sort of like had a hard time with men, guys, and and mainly she kept on talking about celebrity men. Oh, this guy. Oh, I'd take a picture. I might go out and see a member of I'm not going to name their names, but a rapper or something, an R&B singer or something, black men predominantly. And she'd say, "Oh, I hate that guy. He's an abuser." What? Yeah, he's an abuser. He did this. He's a bad person. He did this to me. And I always think, what? I think I put up a post. I said, "Happy birthday" to a celebrity, famous celebrity. And she said, "Oh, why are you friends with him? He's an abuser." And that's how it started. And I kept on that. And I found it quite intriguing. I was like, what? Because first of all, you're silly. You fall into this thing where someone's telling you something about someone that you don't know. And so you kind of want to find out.
And it's a celebrity thing trying to get the common ground.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, did they do that? It's something that you know. You don't want to tell anyone else about it, but you're just finding out information, or you think you're finding out information, but this is just some random girl's point of view that, whatnot. And she said this thing about this celebrity, and I said, "Oh, no, that's terrible. I've never known him like that. I just know him personally." And then it was someone else, and then she said something about that person, so I was like, there was a bit of a pattern emerging. And it was also quite intriguing, but then apart from that, then she'd go back to like normal conversations and this and that, and it was absolutely fine. And like I say, you get nudes all the time, so it wasn't a thing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not.
Did you send her any nudes?
No, I've never. I mean, I don't come from that era of dick pics.
I won't ask for one then.
No. Yeah, no, I just don't come from that era. It doesn't, I'm sure people do, but it doesn't make sense to me. It's just not something I do, man. I wouldn't do that at all. So she was doing that. And then I was doing a gig, and she came along, and I was on stage, and I saw her in the crowd, and then when I came off stage, I wanted to go and say hello formally, and she wasn't there. She'd gone. It's quite strange, but I was busy. I was with a band at the time, and then when I got back to the hotel, I had a message from her saying I came to see her, and I said, "Yeah, I know. What happened?" She said, "Oh, there's too many people, and there was a crowd there, and I get nervous in front of people and men and stuff because I've been through a lot of problems and something like that." And I said, "Oh, that's such a shame. You'd have been fine. You'd have been absolutely fine. I'd have made sure, I looked after you." But all friendship sort of stuff. And then about 4 months later, there was another gig, and she goes, "Oh, I'm going to come along to this gig." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, come along. Let me know when you come in. I know you get worried about things, and it's no problem to go to gigs. People come and join me over the last 30 years on the road all the time. You know what I mean? In fact, it's a really social way of seeing people. I'm not around, but I'm doing a gig near you. Just come along, have a couple of drinks, we'll have a laugh, and then they go about their business. I go about, and that happens all the time. To this day, people come and see me, so it's not, it's not nothing weird about it. So I didn't feel weird. She came down. She saw the show. She was in the VIP, absolutely fine, great night. Dancing. Bit too much drink, but nothing happened, and nothing ever did. So then that was that, and then she carried on sending me loads of nudes and stuff like that. Got to the point where she was doing it, and I said, oh, look, this is where the line crossed, because I said, oh, don't do it on social media, because I don't know if someone could hack my Instagram and I've got these nudes on there. And I was...
So when you said that, so did you shift it from social media to personal numbers?
Yes.
WhatsApp?
Yes. That was the biggest mistake, because it's now you've got my number. So now you're contacting me and, you know, getting me at all, you know, it's like becomes private, becomes more personal. And I think in her mind, she'd kind of built up this kind of relationship. She felt she was having this relationship with me, like a psychological relationship. And then she started to mention Vanessa more. And then she started to say, oh, first of all, I was like, I don't quite like her. I don't know what you're doing with her. You should be with me. And, you know, it started to become stuff like that. And I was like, no, he's all, like, where's this coming from? Do you know what I mean? But it was like slipping it in constantly. And then she was going, oh, you know, but you're looking at my nudes. Why are you looking at my nudes? And this and that. And then things she started to get darker and darker.
Had you met her privately by this stage?
No. Oh, well, I met her because she came to a gig.
But I mean, like, did you meet her for coffees or
No.
anything outside of WhatsApp?
No.
And the gigs that you couldn't really help if she turned up or not?
Yeah, I couldn't help if she turned up or not, but...
By this stage, I'd imagine people listening will be wondering, why didn't you tell her to stop sending you the nudes long before it got to the WhatsApp stage? You must have found it titillating.
It wasn't really offensive. It wasn't offending me. Do you know what I mean?
But you knew it would offend Vanessa.
Yes.
That's what people are going to be thinking.
Yes. I knew...
Giving you the opportunity to put your hands up here.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do at all. I mean, you know, I knew it would. But like I say, you know, people, if you go on social media, if people send you nudes on Instagram all the time, trying to trap you. In fact, I think the first time, thinking about it, the first time we started to have a conversation, I said, I'm happily married. Though I wasn't married to Vanessa, but I said, I'm happily married. You know, so let's not do that line of thing. And then she
carried on.
She waited another month and then did it, and then did it, and then did it, that kind of thing. So anyway, so she was just sending me nudes. It was got on WhatsApp, this and that. And then one day it kind of dawned on me that, oh, crikey, you know, me and Vanessa weren't in the best place of our relationship. It kind of pretty much had run its course about 15 years in. 14 years in, it kind of run its course, really.
That makes more sense, because I'm sure if you was in the peak of your relationship...
Oh, no, yeah, of course.
The first nude you would have gone, block. You would have blocked like you did the others.
Yes, yeah. But 14 years in, it pretty much, we were on tenterhooks, really. Arguing a lot. I was, I suppose, unhappy.
This now makes more sense.
I was just unhappy, really. I was disappointed. I had sort of gone with Vanessa wanting, you know, a life and children, and then, if not children, a dog, but marriage. Being a Christian, I was wanted to be married. I believe in the sanctity of marriage. I just do. I always have done. And I kind of wanted that, and I was promised that, and it never materialised. It's funny, I saw an interview with Dr. Dre and the other day, and he said, people will always tell you who they are. You just got to listen. When you meet anyone, they'll always tell you who they are. It's just that you're not listening. They'll always tell you what their intentions are. Just got to listen. And I thought to myself, wow.
They'll certainly show you.
Yeah, they'll show you their intentions, but they kind of tell you. And when I met Vanessa, she said, oh, I just want someone who's happy and just someone who likes to kind of enjoy stuff, because you remind me of my Papa Willie. And so her Uncle Willie or Papa Willie, or Granddad Papa Willie. And you remind me of my Papa Willie, and he was really jovial and upbeat and always happy to be there, and and he was just happy to go along to things and just happy and made light of most things in life. And you really see his personality, you're happy to be there. And then when I watched celebs go dating, and I think Paul Brunson said, "Did you love him?" And she said, "I was just happy to love him because he was happy to be there."
That's like you being the dog.
There wasn't an intention of anything. It was just like, I just want someone who's just happy to be at my side. That's it. And I was happy to be at her side. But when I first met her, it took me 6 months to get into the relationship because I just didn't want my life exposed in the media and all that business. And I could see that sort of thing. And she talked about a lot of personal things. And I thought, I don't want her talking about me, about this and that, like in the bedroom or whether it's jovial or fun. I just didn't want to be exposed in that way. And she really kind of chased me. I was not really kind of into it. And so not that I wasn't into it, I liked her company. I thought she was an amazing woman, a great raconteur, incredibly funny. And I fancied her.
Big personality.
And I fancied her. So
for the sake of the audience, so we sort of stopped before we finished the end of the stalker story, but that will tie in with, I'm sure, the final collapse with you and Vanessa. So if we talk about the relationship with Vanessa and catch up with the stalker, then we can finish that story off in one swoop.
Right, okay, cool.
So Vanessa, how did you meet?
So my friend Keith Duffy from Boyzone, great friend of mine, he had done Celebrity Big Brother with her, the first one, which was the massive viewing figures between Channel 4 and BBC One. And he phoned me and he said, "Oh, will you come and meet me when I come outside the house, because we could get voted out every night." So every night I'd go up to the studio and I'd wait for him, and he stayed in for quite a long time. One of the nights I was watching it, there was the infamous, she was writing on the table and stuff like that, and that was like, that really shocked me. I thought, wow, this lady's lost it. This is crazy.
What was she doing?
Big Brother was the voice of power, and it told her to come to the diary room or something, and she told Big Brother to F off, and then she was writing incarcerated, trapped, boxed in. She was just writing stuff on the table. That's what the words. But I think because she had dark glasses and a leopard print dressing gown, she just looked crazy. And she was writing on the table, and it was just to do with that the voting system hit her hard, and it was just a form of rejection. And she had obviously felt rejected by her first husband. Then she comes into this house, and there's a few other people that reject her again and say she needs to be voted out. So that kind of thing. And I don't think she really felt it was going to hit her like that. So that's primarily what happened. Right. But anyway, when she came out, she was absolutely fine. But so when on the last day, and when there was sort of like a rap party, I was down there with Keith, and Keith introduced me to her. He said, "Have you ever met Vanessa?" I said, "No." He said, "Yeah, I think you'd really get on." So I met her that night, and we got on really, really well. She was in a relationship with someone. I gave him my number. Anyway, gave me a phone call, and I'm a man about town, and I go out in London. He said, "Do you want to go anywhere? Do you know anywhere to go?" And I goes, "Yeah, I know this place and whatever." And then we all went out for dinner. And then at that time, so 2 weeks later, I was seeing this girl, and she went out for dinner with me, this girl. And we went to this restaurant, and it was called Rack's Restaurant on Headland Street in the West End. So it was her and a fella, me and this girl, and another friend and his girlfriend. And we were sitting around the table, and this girl that I was with was feeding me food. It's like a flirtatious feeding, that kind of thing. It was just like a flirt thing. We just met like a week before or something. Anyway, and then Vanessa out of the blue says, she went, "I'll put him down, I'm sure he can feed himself." So, well, we both looked at each other, and then we looked at Vanessa like, "Where'd that come from?" Like, we're just here, it's like couples are doing what they're doing. But obviously that was discomfort that she was having in her own life, with her own relationship, and there was obviously a hint of jealousy.
She was marking her future territory, wasn't she?
There was definitely something in there. It was definitely like a Freudian slip. It was something that kind of that. And then the next time I saw her, again, about 7 months later, I was in China Whites. She said, what are you up to? I said, I've just done this record. Lo and behold, the record comes on. And literally as we're talking. And then I said, it's this record I've just done. It's a record called Love to Sunshine that I did. And they were playing it there. And she goes, oh, this sounds really good and this and that. And then that was that. And then 2 years later, I saw her at the OK Magazine party. And I was with a band that I was in when we were going to represent, we were going for a song for Eurovision. The band was called 4 Story. And one of the guys in 4 Story had got really drunk. He just had a bit too much to drink. And it was kind of like, we're in the place with other celebrities and stuff like that. And I said, oh, it's embarrassing. You're embarrassing us. You've got to go home. And then a friend who lived near him, who was also in the band, goes, look, I'll take him home. We'll get him out of here, this and that. So my friends went home and I was there on my own. But I knew everyone in there and stuff like that. And I went over to see Nathan Moore from Brother Beyond. And he was standing next to Lisa Scott Lee. So I remember the night really well. And Nathan Moore was about to go on stage and sing something. And then Vanessa walked in. I was talking to Nathan Moore. You probably won't remember this. And then Vanessa walked past. And I thought, is that Vanessa? Because obviously I know her. So she walked past and she went to do a media run. Then she walked back past. And then as she walked back past, I said, Vanessa. And then she turned around. I said, oh, hey, how are you? And she just said, yeah, I'm fine. But it was kind of like a colder fine. So I said, no, it's Ben. And she went, yeah, I know. And I said, no, I do know you. I'm just not, just like...
We've had dinner together before.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing. But even though it was about 2 years before that, but I said, that's Ben. She goes, yeah, Keith's mate, Ben. So I couldn't tell whether she was, and she goes, but when she said Keith's mate, then I said, oh, yeah, how are you? Yeah, I'm all right. And then she told me that, she had something on her mind. Her daughter had been taken ill abroad and stuff. And then we just started chatting and it was just like it was a little chat line. And I think she kind of brightened up when I was chatting to her and there was a bit of flirting.
Was you instantly attracted to her at this point?
There had been something brewing for 3-4 years. It was kind of like from the very first time to now, there'd been something there. But it wasn't, I didn't know, and it wasn't something I was trying to take further, but there was definitely an energy that was brewing. But I liked her, and we had this conversation, and I always thought, oh yeah, I remember, I like your personality. You're very funny, very witty.
Strong, isn't she, as well?
Yeah, strong lady. So we exchanged numbers. In fact, I said, I'm in this band called 4 Story, and we're going in to go for a song for Europe. Can we come onto your show?
What was her show at the time?
She just had a show, a little radio show on BBC London.
Okay, so this is before LBC.
This is before all of it. When I met Vanessa, she had a small show on BBC London. All the big time Vanessa stuff from the 90s had finished.
Right.
So there was no allure to her. Yes, she was known, but there was no allure like people subsequently think to her celebrity or, it's a massive catch for me, or it wasn't that. I genuinely liked her as a person and like the lady. So, and it was a small show. And I said it for 2 reasons. The first reason was so I could get to see her again, because there was obviously something there. And then, so I kind of made up this kind of thing. And she goes, oh, it's a talk show, there's no music. I goes, oh, we'll just sing a cappella, but then you can interview us. And she goes, all right, that'd be an idea. Then she gave me her producer's number. Her producer rang me the next day. Then we went to do the show on the Saturday. So say like that was a Friday night. Producer rang me on the Saturday. Are you free next Saturday? Yes, we are. So we went in to do the show. We went in to do the show. After the show, we went for a drink with the whole band. The band left, and me and Vanessa left it in the pub together. And then we started talking and this and that, and and then the real flirtation started. But I genuinely enjoyed her company, and I think she just enjoyed mine. So then it became that we'd have dinner, or we'd meet up once a week for a dinner or a function or something that was under the radar.
You'd make excuses to me.
Yes, yeah, completely that. We kind of enjoyed each other's company. And then sort of halfway through kind of doing it, I was kind of thinking, I'm not sure about this actually. Is this the right thing? And, you know, she's kind of a little bit older than me, and
How much older is she?
only 10 years. It's not loads, but it was. I thought she's a little bit older than me, and I don't know if she clearly wanted something, and I liked her a lot, but I just thought, I don't really want my life to be in the media, and
For the wrong reasons.
for the wrong reasons. Yeah, right now I make a record. You like it. You like it. If you don't, you don't. That was the only media I did. Let's talk about the record. You know, it was that kind of thing. So I kind of I wasn't really sure about it. And then the more we kind of met up, and then what happened was, my father had passed away in August 2005 or whatever, and this sort of stuff started happening sort of late 2005. And she was incredibly empathetic and incredibly mothering.
And you were vulnerable.
I was vulnerable. My dad had passed, and then my nephew passed shortly after, and I was having like panic attacks and stuff. And we went to Scott's restaurant for dinner, and I was visibly shaking.
Right.
And she asked me what was wrong, and I didn't quite know. I wouldn't say because I didn't want to appear. So I thought I was putting on my best face, but she could see I wasn't the same guy. Because I thought I dealt with all that trauma, and then, you know, like grief, it comes out
Waves.
in waves. Yeah. So this grief sort of came, but I didn't quite know what it was. I just something wasn't right with me. That's what I knew. I knew I wasn't feeling right. I'd be shaking and doing things, and my heart would start beating really fast and stuff like that in certain situations. And I'd think, I should go to the doctor. I don't know what's going on. And it's only when I went to the doctor and he said it was the trauma. But she was really caring about that, really, really sympathetic. And
Nice.
And yeah, no, it's a great quality that she has. And that was the first time. And so that, for me, understood. And then I started to think, wow, I really like this woman.
Did she make you feel safe?
It was kind of like mothering. I couldn't get it from anywhere else. And all of a sudden there's this woman, she's slightly older, so it made it okay that she was kind of motherly.
She probably slotted into that role perfectly.
Perfectly, yeah. And then I fell for her at that point. And then the conversation was just like, well, I think I love you, and I don't care what anyone says. Let's do it, because I'm in love and I want to do that. I was 34, she was 44. It's
What?
absolutely fine. We enjoyed each other's company. And then we got together.
And what was it like at the start? Was it explosive, lustful?
It was all of the above in the beginning. I thought I'd found my soulmate. I found out very fast it wasn't, but I thought for a while that I had. And we go everywhere together. I enjoyed going absolutely anywhere. I think the first thing we went to was a bar mitzvah of a friend's daughter. And then we went to the races, and then we just go places. And as long as we were together, it was absolutely fine.
And how many good years did you have?
6, maybe even 7 good years.
And then 10, 11 rocky ones?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I was there for way too long.
What's she like to live with?
For the first 6 years, she was great.
What's she like to live with for the end 10?
It was rough. It was rough because I don't know whether it's a job or whatever, but you know, she has a way of emasculating what I felt emasculated.
That's a very honest thing to say.
Yeah.
And a man can't live like that.
True. They can't. You know, you think you can. And it takes a sort of man. I was really, really happy for her in everything that she achieved. And I was very, very proud of her in absolutely everything that she did. And I get excited when she goes, oh, I've just got this job, I've just got this advert, and I'd get excited for her.
What things would she do to emasculate you?
She'd shout at me. And I'd be like, why are do you go from 0 to 60? Like, you know when like a parent shouts at a child, that kind of thing. She'd undermine everything I was doing. She'd also have this thing where, you know, I want you to work and go and earn money, but then when you're going to work and earn money, she'd be like, why are you going away? What are you going away for? You know, this, that. We got to go on holiday. We got to do this and that. It was like, well, I can't go on holiday and earn money. I need to go and do what I'm doing. And she kind of convinced me to move in. I was living in a flat in Westbourne Park, and I got rid of that to move in, which I should never have done. She was lovely. I was supportive of her, but she used to shout at me in the street and stuff, just kind of like
publicly.
Yeah, and I'd get like tweets like, I saw you and Vanessa Feltz and thing, or the way she spoke to you or something. I mean, that was a common tweet. I mean, that was a like common thing. And so it was just that kind of thing. And you know what? You just became used to it. And I just thought, that's just part of her personality. She doesn't mean it. It's not like, because she doesn't really stay angry for long. But there was no reason to be like that.
If you ever had TV appearances together, would she take the lead role and be the dominant one?
No, see, we clicked in a lot of places because we were both competitive. And so that was the thing we bonded with. Like, you know, I remember the first day we did Supermarket Sweep with Dale Winton. We just gave each other this look and then we went for it. We both went on to win like Pointless 3 times, or I think we both won it 3 times. I won it twice with her and once without her, and she's won it twice with me and once without me. So, you know, we're just competitive people. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We did really well on that. I don't think she answered the question, but that's another story. But nevertheless, you know, we
She won't like that.
she won't like it, but the footage is there on the internet. Yeah, so we clicked in that way. I was good at letting her do what she wanted to do. I haven't got a problem. I'm very, very confident in myself. I became less confident towards the end of our relationship, but I'm very, very confident in myself. I'm a singer. I can act. I can dance. I've always been a performer. I get up on any stage at any time. I've toured with Take That, Will Smith, you know, you name it, I've done it all. Boyzone, you know. So I've been in the business for years, so I'm a very confident man.
Well, it says a lot for a man of your stature that's happy to put himself in those very uncomfortable situations for most people. I mean, public speaking, dancing, singing, that's like probably people's number one fear ahead of death. But you've got the confidence to do all that, but she was still able to emasculate you.
Yeah, I mean...
That's quite something.
I don't know how she did it. I think you chip away.
It's a gradual process.
It's a gradual process. So it's like, you're not really earning as much money as me. You're not as clever as I am. You're not really doing this. It's that kind of thing.
Did she ever air any dirty laundry in public?
There was one episode where my friend had a girl that he was seeing, a random girl. And she was talking to this girl for a long time. And I thought, oh, that's great. And two are getting on. So, me and my friend was having a good conversation. A week later, he rang me and said, dude, what's up with your girl, man? I said, what's going on? He said, Vanessa's been telling my girlfriend all like, saying you're lazy and you don't earn any money and you don't do this and you don't do that. And she paid for the last holiday and like this girl that she never met till that day since. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, why would you say, I mean, half it's not true, but why would you say that? And she goes, oh, her reaction was, oh, that's such a, she broke the girl code. I'm like, what about what you said?
What about our code?
Yeah, what about our code? Like, what's that? I've been with you 10 years now. Like, why would you, like, I didn't understand it. But that's her first reaction. She was more annoyed about breaking the girl code than she was about what she said. I once said, I just want to be respected as a person. And she said, I don't respect you. And she used to say stuff like that. And it's only now I look and I think, why would you stay there? Because I was in love. And if someone breaks you down gradually, so you don't feel worthy, then you kind of put up with it, kind of go along with it. because you don't really think, and before you know it, my whole personality changed, you know. And you know, a lot of friends would see me, my family were kind of didn't want to say anything, but they were like a little bit worried about it.
How did your personality change? Become more insular?
Yes, more insular.
Lost your swag?
Yes, completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
I mean, we all need people, and the other way around, we all need people to pump us up because there's enough shit out there knocking us down.
Yeah.
You don't need it indoors.
It just happened over time.
Before we go to the very decline of the relationship and then tie it in with the stalker, because I'm sure it all sort of fits in. I just want to, there's one thing that I've always been interested in. It was when you went on Wife Swap.
Yeah.
So you lived with Debbie McGee,
yeah,
and Vanessa lived with Paul Daniels.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to know, what were they like to live with?
Right.
What did Vanessa Feltz say about Paul Daniels? Because he was an interesting character, wasn't he?
R.I.P. Paul Daniels. You know, he was a legend.
Total legend, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a legend. But I actually, although Vanessa didn't know this, I actually quite liked him. He's a very much, but I can understand. I think he's very much a man's man. It's old school man's man. So I think she felt he was slightly sexist.
That wouldn't sit well with Vanessa, would it?
No, not at all. And they teed him up. RDF teed him up because they thought, here you got a feminist and here you got a man that's sexist. So let's stick them together. You know, that was why Swap was built on conflict.
Yeah, that's great TV.
Yeah, but they were too long in the tooth, and they knew how television worked.
Right.
So they weren't given the production company what the production company wanted. So they were taking the cash, but not delivering. And they both didn't like each other, but they both were playing the same game. So Paul Daniels was threatening to walk every 2 seconds. Vanessa was threatening to walk. They were just being the opposite of what was going on.
Right.
So someone at the production company must have said, "You got to get something out of Debbie and Ben then, because these two aren't delivering." So me and Debbie had worked out in the very, very beginning that they were trying to manipulate us into not liking each other. And I thought, what's there not to like? It's the lovely Debbie McGee. It's me. I get on with everyone. Let's have fun. So she came to the gig, this and that. Then they got to her and she switched. Debbie McGee switched. And I think maybe she wanted to stand out in her own right, because one of the things that she pointed out was I was going to be in Vanessa's shadow. And maybe she felt she was in Paul's shadow. So she switched on me, and she started saying to me, "Oh, you know, I know you're a singer, but you're no Robbie Williams, are you? You're not this, you're not that." And I just remember thinking, while she was laying into me, I still can't watch the footage now. So while I'm sensitive soul, there's a lot of things I can't watch. While she was laying into me, I thought to myself, here I am, a big 6'4" black man, and she is a small white lady. And if I do anything or say anything, I'm going to look so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And embarrassed. And I come from the days when black people represented other black people. So I come from the days when if there was a black person on the telly, you'd call your brothers and sisters and say, "Mum, Dad," or, you know, "Clement, Alan, there's a black person on the telly. You'd all come and watch." And that black person represented every black person. So you put on your best behaviour when you're on the television. That's just the days I come from. I'll never be able to change that. That's just who I am. And that was going through my head. Don't react. Even though she's humiliating you now on national TV, don't react and don't say anything. All she was saying was I was lazy, and I was saying, because the narrative that RDF wanted was I was just this black guy who was living off Vanessa. This is the narrative that they want. They still
Were you coined a gold digger?
Yeah. And this is the narrative that they all want. This is the narrative that's playing till this very day. And it's like, well, no, I sold 7 million records. How is that? You know, how's that a narrative? I've toured with the biggest bands in the world. New Kids on the Block, take that. I've been, I'm known. The record turnaround was massive in every country in the world. And there's I'm not only a one-hit wonder. Feel Good from Fats and Small. We did 1 million on that. We did 1 million on Tonight. Very few people sold 2 million records in their whole career. I got 2 records that sold 2 million, plus I got Turnaround that sold 4.5 million. And that's just the records that were counted. In those days, they were doing white labels. I've been on stage in South Africa, Madagascar, Kazakhstan, Russia. It's ridiculous to me. They say, oh, well, he was walking the red carpets, or he just used it to walk red carpets. Keith Duffy introduced me to Vanessa Feltz. Is that famous enough for people?
Well, you was just massive. Fats and Small turnaround was huge. I know we're veering off, but just to put it in context, Fats and Small, when Turnaround would come on in any club, and I was club mad back then, the whole gaff would erupt over any other song.
Yeah.
There was a couple of others, giving credit where it's due. Xavier, love Xavier.
Yeah.
Another big tune.
And 99 was a big year for house music, but we were the biggest record on the radio in 1999. Robbie Williams' Strong was number 2. We were selling roughly 8,000 records. I mean, our competitors weren't house music. Our competitors were Westlife and S Club 7. That's what we were competing against. We weren't competing even though people made house music. Turnaround was an avalanche of a record, and not only that, it was worldwide. It wasn't just the UK. It was France. I mean, I was barely in Britain in 1999. So much so that I came home and heard about garage. I kind of missed the early garage stuff because I wasn't here. So I was in Spain. I was in, Europe and stuff. So I kind of missed it. But so the whole Vanessa for fame thing, I said, people, I don't understand it. Sometimes it's kind of frustrating. So I try not to read the comments too much, but just for the record straight, never a gold digger. There's Google. Research record sales. We were selling vinyls, singles, gigs I've done. I've had a career. I started in the late 80s making records with Brian Dugan's, and he was in a band called Stacker Humanoid. 1988, when I was 16. Humanoid went to number 17 in the national charts in 88. This is before I got into the boy band stuff. This is that I had a house music career before then the boy band stuff, then Fats and Small. It's just been so that narrative does frustrate me. It does frustrate me. But nevertheless, anyway, so I was felt emasculated, and everything I did wasn't as important because she had more money and doing things than I did. And the disrespect started to spill over, I felt, with the daughters and stuff like that, sometimes the way they would speak to me. And so,
monkey see, monkey do, innit?
Yeah. And so there was a little bit of that. That wasn't a major thing, but there was little things like that. And the Bible says, don't be with someone who's quick-tempered, because if you hang around them, you will learn their ways. So my temper started to become shorter after about 7 or 8 years.
We mirror each other, don't we?
Yeah. She was always right, and she could never be wrong, and it was her views and this and that. And then it became, after I'd given up my flat, kind of like you're living in her house, so it's her rules, and there was a lot of that sort of stuff going on. And really, looking back, and it's only through therapy, I should have walked years ago. I don't know why. If I knew that, I'd be God. I don't know why I stayed around. I now think that the situation that happened was all meant to be.
The stalking situation.
There's one situation before that,
okay,
which I can be honest about.
So I'm not too sure what you can and can't talk about, so roll with it.
All right, okay, cool. So Vanessa and I were having a lot of problems. Every day we argued a lot, and we sort of put it down to passion. One of the main things was she didn't want to get married. She said she wanted to get married, and then she didn't want to get married. We offered all this money from magazines and stuff like that, and she said, "Don't you think we're rushing?" And I said, "Oh, fine, but we do want to get married," because we got engaged. And then as time went on, she blatantly started saying, "Well, I'm not going to marry you." And there was one time that her niece came to my nephew's house. It was a family party, and her niece, who must have been about 7, said, my auntie's not going to marry your uncle. So she kind of knew. My family clearly didn't get on with her. She never saw them, they never saw each other. They kind of put up with the fact that I was going with her and I was happy. But they really was just like, I don't know what you're doing, you know. There was a lot of that. I had friends who just go like, you know, because she would speak to me in a certain way with my friends there as well. And they were just like, wow, you're a better man than me. I don't know if I could kind of do that. So that was really, that was basically the climate of our relationship.
In a toxic cycled relationship where people are trauma bonded, and I don't want to put words into your mouth, you find yourself going back, getting caught in this loop, and you're double guessing yourself, and you're, why do I keep going back? The makeup, the breakup, it becomes an addiction. It sounds to me like there was a bit of that in there. Am I right? Am I wrong in saying that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it takes a long time to break that cycle. And then at what stage do you start falling out of love with them, or does it all come to an end whilst you're still in love with them? And because what happened with your stalker and you got caught out, obviously she's going to see it from a different point of view as you. She's going to see it as, well, you're receiving nudes, you're talking to somebody, and so was your hand forced to completely have that relationship severed? Do you know what I mean?
The reason why the stalker thing was so bad, and the reason why I took the threats from the stalker when she started changing, so she hated Vanessa, this, that, and then she would say, right, I'm going to tell Vanessa that you've been looking at sex pictures of me. I'm going to tell her that her man's cheating. I said, well, I'm not cheating. Well, I'm going to tell her and this and that. And my relationship wouldn't have survived that, and I knew that because I went to Ibiza. I got a call from a good friend of mine, Dane Bowers, and he was like, Reggie and Bowley have pulled out of this gig in a place in Ibiza called Jacaranda, and it's ran by a woman called Mandy Hayes. Now I'm saying these names because Mandy sold a story to the paper and tried to change her name. And I'm like, if you're going to sell a story for X amount of money to a paper and pretend that some of it went to charity, then stand up and be counted. We're all being counted here. So don't change your name. Like, your name's Amanda Hayes. And you're called Crazy Mandy. That's the nickname of this woman. So I went to Ibiza and I did this show. The show was amazing. I went with Jason Feltz of Fats and Small. Did the show. Show was an incredible show. Went to this bar after to have a drink. One of the women who was, so Dana just organised the gig, but he wasn't there. But he's the one who told me about the gig, which he does all the time. Tells me about gigs and I go and do them and whatnot. So I went to this bar, and then this woman who was looking after us, and Mandy ran the holiday result, said, "Oh, Mandy doesn't look very happy. She's the boss. You go over and talk to her and stuff like that, and just, maybe it's a keep the job sort of thing. I don't know." So I thought, yeah, fine. Good old Benny walks over there, starts having this chat with Mandy. Seemed absolutely fine. She's great, and so we're getting on, stuff like that. We're drinking, and then she goes, "Okay, I need to go home back." I said, well, you walking back? He said, "You can't walk on your own." She goes, "Oh, I live around there." I said, no, I'll walk you back. So walked her back to her place. She's flirting a little bit, but it was nothing meant to be. She goes in her room. I go in my room. So it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. 3:30, do, massive knock on my door. So I'm jumping up, half asleep. I think it's Jason Feltz, the DJ. Opens the door, and it's Mandy, who did one of those, one of those films, sort of runs into your arms and starts kissing you and is kind of on the bed and doing it. I mean, so I'm kind of drunk and stuff. And then we ended up having sex. And it's the first time that I'd ever
cheated.
Yeah. First time I ever cheated in my life. But by the time I got to Ibiza with Dane and stuff like that, me and Vanessa, we were kind of struggling. She was telling me I was no good as a person and I don't really amount to much, and she didn't have any respect for me. I should have got that relationship then. I didn't. I ended up going to Ibiza where another woman was paying me like loads of attention and saying how great I was, just having this flirt thing in the bar and stuff like that. And so that's what I think was going on psychologically.
Yeah.
Underneath. Like an underneath. It wasn't my first fault, but that's what going on psychologically.
You felt valued again after a long time.
I think that's the thing. So Mandy knocked on my door. She owned the results. She knew.
Not that I'm condoning your infidelity.
Well, I've admitted I've been, because that's the only cheat. So this serial cheat thing that the paper are running with, like I've slept with multiple amount of people. One of the papers said, he goes around to holiday parks and he's sleeping with different. It's like, God, it's like.
Did Vanessa make a statement that you slept with hundreds of women behind her back?
She says several. Vanessa's very clever. What you'll see is that
In doing my research, I've seen different numbers.
Exactly. So what Vanessa does is that she alludes to things. She won't say anything because it's legal. So she just alludes to, I don't know. I think there were several women. I don't think this. I'm lonely. I'm single. I'm alone. That really what she's saying is that Ben, that bastard Ben, mind games. She's media
trained. Well, for the record then, how many women did you sleep with behind Vanessa's back?
None, apart from Mandy Hayes. That was it. That's what's so funny about this whole thing. It's like, I'm not a serial cheater. I've never cheated in my life. It was just Amanda Hayes. And I keep saying her name because I want her name to be out there, because I think everyone should be stand up and be counted.
And did she sell that story?
Yeah. She sold that story to the Sun. I think the Sun flew out to Thailand to it was the Daily Mail or the Sun, one of them, but she sold the story.
Do you think she come in, seduced and had sex with you purposefully to sell the story?
No, I think she knew I was with Vanessa, but she just wanted sex at that time, and
Why would she sell the story?
Oh, this is years later. She didn't sell it straight away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, she didn't sell it. She sold it like 3 years later. So basically what happened was, and then I woke up in the morning and I felt absolutely terrible. So now I'm thinking, oh no, this is damage limitation, what's going to happen? And I thought, I pulled myself together and I thought, you know what? If no one finds out, you'll be okay. And you'll kind of do that. I think we were there for another day. And the main thing was not to tell the DJ I was with. It's a rookie move. It's a woman owns the resort. She's paying you, and you start sleeping. I mean, it's an unheard of. It's a silly thing to do, for starters, because you're messing with your business.
Do you have one more for the road?
Well, what happened was. What happens is once you tell one lie, what happens is you find yourself telling another lie.
Mess.
And you fall into it. Before you know it, you don't know where you are because you've told that initial lie. When it's always better to just be honest and come straight out with the truth. But because I told that lie and I didn't want anyone to know, and I mean anyone apart from her, and the next day she woke up and she was acting normal. I thought, oh, well, she's an adult. She's 10 years older than me as well. So I just thought this would be a thing. And then that night, again, she knocked on my door again. So I thought, oh, well, that night went okay. We'll do that night. But also it was trying to sort of keep the kind of ship afloat. I didn't want to be, it was just the stupidest thing I've ever done.
You think if you reject her, she's going to grass you up?
When you've done something wrong, you try to rationalise it in your mind. And that's what happened. And I kind of got away with it. And then the next time we saw this woman, I was in Thailand. She had a resort in Thailand, and she had a resort in Ibiza and something in Thailand. We went over to do a gig. Then the first night in Thailand, I've been 4 or 5 months at home with Vanessa, and then we went to Thailand, and she was thinking the same thing was going to go on. So she pulled me aside, and that night, and then halfway through whatever we did, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to do this. I don't even fancy her. I'm doing this so that no one finds out.
You're now doing it for the third time to save yourself from the first time.
Exactly. And I could see the cycle. And I just thought, Ben, grow a pair. And tell this woman this ain't on. You know I'm with someone, like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is almost like... And then I told her, and all hell broke loose. Because I think that she's used to getting what she wants. I think she's a wealthy woman, and everyone kind of does what she says. And when she's had a drink, she's quite, aggressive. I found her. These are my opinions. These are all my views of her, my personal opinions. I think that she's quite aggressive when she's had a drink. I think people work for her. I think they're scared of her.
That's kind of what you gravitate towards, though, isn't it? That strength, domineering female.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
But then
I must have been in that space. I grew up with strong women. But strong women doesn't have to mean that they emasculate you and that they're aggressive and that they are. It doesn't mean that. So that's what I've learned. A strong woman is a strong woman. She doesn't have to be loud, talk eloquently, and be disrespectful. So I found Mandy disrespectful when she got drunk. And so I said it to her, and all hell broke loose, and then that was it. And then it came out to Jason, who was incredibly angry. Jason Feltz was incredibly angry that had happened, and he had every right to be, because it kind of like, it's the most stupid. He wouldn't even need to tell me not to do that. So we've been digging for like 20 something years. It was just a really silly thing to do.
Did you tell him that a stiff prick has no conscience?
It was a silly thing. But I felt that he made it worse, because I felt that he kind of backed her, and he knew that she was called Crazy Mandy, and he knew that, and that was their nickname, and he kind of backed her, and that really, really hurt me, and I'll say that openly. I'm not a victim.
But you felt betrayed by him anyway.
I did, and then that was that. Fast forward, she came to the UK to have an operation or something like that, and she wanted me to come and see her. I said to her, I'm in the UK, Mandy, what don't you understand? I'm not having I'm in a relationship, I'm not. It's not like it was a struggle. I was only doing it, like you said a really good thing. I was only doing it the third time to stop everyone finding out about the first time. It was that kind of thing. It was like a terrible mistake that I had made, and I didn't come and see her. I didn't go and see her. It was like a Thursday night. On the Friday, she sent 2 emails to Vanessa's email address at the BBC. And then at both shows, one at BBC London and one at Radio 2. And she sent emails. And then she continued, and in all she sent 22 emails, which would have been, I was horrified. And it would have been the most embarrassing and shocking thing for Vanessa. Because, our bosses knew and certain people knew and stuff like that.
Oh, so would other people have access to Vanessa's emails?
Yeah. And
that's spiteful.
This is the lady we're talking about.
There's one thing getting revenge on you because she feels like you've rejected her. Yeah. But then to do that to Vanessa privately is one thing, to say, look, I just want to let you know, which again is spiteful because it takes 2 to tango. But to actually involve like people that she works with.
Yeah. Well, she was like trying to say to her, she sort of came on an angle that, we're all women, we should stick together and this and that, like every woman, when they can't get what they want, not every woman, but certain women, they can't get what they want, they say, I'm only letting you know because it's a girls' club and a girls' gang. And it's like, no, it should be the girl code, not sleeping with someone who's with someone. That should be the girl code. Not the girl code is like, I'm going to tell you after I've done it.
3 times.
Exactly. So she did it, and it was horrific, and that was the first time that it come out.
What was Vanessa's reaction to that?
Horrified, annoyed, and horrified.
Did she blow her top or sort of?
Yeah, she did, and I deserved every. I get it. It came out in the worst way. I loved Vanessa a lot, but in order to even get in that place, you have to be unhappy.
Men need to feel respected.
Yes.
If you don't feel respected in a relationship, it's downhill pretty quick.
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
And also, everybody, men and women, we want to feel wanted. So if you're not feeling wanted for a long duration of time, all of a sudden somebody makes you feel wanted. Human beings do silly things.
Yeah.
When they feel neglected. I mean, I've seen it over the years many times where unintentionally one partner pushes the other into the arms of another, and it's done subtly and gradually, and it's, you know, if you start packing up the neglect and the belittling and not giving somebody the worth and respect, you are pushing them away, and we all need to land somewhere. Yeah. So anyone watching this in a relationship, you know, if you're not giving your partner enough respect or attention, men or women, just bear in mind that everyone's got a breaking point, and eventually, if somebody shows them what they crave, they will lean into it, because we're all animals.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's the truth. I know people don't want to hear it. It's no cop out. It's just the truth. I should have been out of that relationship with Vanessa years and years before.
And also, like you say, yeah, I'm not justifying cheating by any stretch of the imagination. And really, if you've got true strength of character, you call it a day.
Yeah.
Before you do that, before you cross the line. But again, we're all very imperfect people.
Yeah.
That's another thing people need to remember when they're judging people. It's like, you're not perfect. I guarantee you've made your mistakes, probably a lot worse than that. And in an ideal world.
Thank you for saying that. You know, it's funny because, you know, I mean, every day I judge myself, and you can't help reading comments and stuff, and social media doesn't allow you to be human.
There'll be a lot of projection coming your way. So I wouldn't feel anywhere near as bad as you have done, because you've owned up to it, you've owned it, you've gone to therapy for it, and you can't allow that shit to haunt you forever.
It's quite weird, isn't it? You think you got rid of it, and it's still there. It's still there.
Trauma lingers, man.
Yeah, it does. You know, so basically, when she'd sent all of those emails and stuff, she rang Jason Feltz, and he said, yeah, it's true. So hence the reason why me and Jason Feltz don't speak.
Right.
And won't be friends, and that's that. And, you know, which was shocking to me, absolutely shocking. Not that I would have denied it, but let me say it's true. Don't validate something that someone said or whatever. But I think he was fed up with me, or I don't know what his reasons were, or whatever he says they were. But that's the truth. So that's the breakup of me not having anything to do with Jason Feltz. Is that
when that incident took place? How long before the stalking started?
About 2 years later.
So Vanessa forgave you initially.
She did, but the relationship was walking on thin ice, and this girl Yelda was sending me these nudes, and then she started to have this psychotic hate for Vanessa, and she would start getting on the phone and abusing that such and such, calling Vanessa names and stuff like that. I couldn't understand what her issue was. You know what I mean? But for me, she's a psychopath. So she was jealous of me being with Vanessa. But I knew that Vanessa couldn't handle whether I was sex texting, whether I was sleeping with someone.
Oh my God, this guy's a clown.
But she couldn't handle that. I get that. So now I'm trying to go back into my old self, trying to appease this girl. No, don't say this. You know, trying to have more conversations than I would have, trying to calm this fire down, thinking there's no damage that's being done. She kept on doing it. And then she's one of these girls who going on social media, and then I start to work out what sort of person this was. And this was a person who had targeted celebrity black men, and there'll be black men watching this now, celebrities, UK celebrities, you know who you are. There's a girl called Yelda, and she's targeted them before. She goes in, she does all this kind of thing, and then she causes a problem, and then she runs to the police and says, oh, this person's abusing me, that person's abusing me. And she's done it loads of times. Her older sister is a police officer. So maybe that's the way that she's been able to scrape through the law or whatever, that she knows what she's doing by pointing the finger at anyone else and she's got away with it. And then I started to find out that she had been on the internet before, harassing people and stuff like that. It's a whole thing for her.
And how would it escalate?
Ringing management, ringing theatre directors that I was working with, saying, this guy is I think she called me a pedophile or something. This guy's a pedophile, which is, who uses that terminology just to call someone that?
It's a no-go if it's not true.
Yeah, of course.
It's the no-go.
Why would you? This is how crazy she is. He's a rapist, he's a pedophile, he's this, he's that. What? I mean, just absolute madness. But the problem was, I was so broken with the split from Vanessa and me. I was getting 1,000 messages a day, at least 1,000. You this, you that.
Is this because the cheating went public?
Yeah, and this girl, she was attacking anyone I was with, friends, hairdressers, whatever. I was doing a play at the time. She was phoning all the, she was getting their numbers. She's one of these internet people that stay at home and they do all these kind of things.
Trolling people.
She was trolling absolutely everyone. And I couldn't understand what she wanted. You split up a 17-year relationship. Where's the shame? Why are you still trolling and doing stuff? And you know, she's just remained anonymous, but her name is Yelda. I'm not gonna say her surname. So Yelda was doing everything, and then my younger brother was taken ill, and he was having problems. And this is 2022. So me and Vanessa were in problems, and there was this Yelda that was threatening me every day, and she was already sending these like Instagram stuff to Vanessa, but I got inside Vanessa's phone and I was blocking the words so she couldn't see, because I knew the way this girl spoke. Then all of a sudden my brother was taken ill, and I got 2 twin brothers, and unfortunately we lost my brother. And just kind of, you know, in 2022, August we lost him. Just kind of spiraled a little bit, you know. Started drinking a lot more and all that sort of stuff.
How old was he?
He was 47.
Oh, rest in peace. That's terrible. That's too young. Sorry, brother.
And so I started drinking a bit more. I was a bit more careless, you know. And then I went to do a gig in Butlins with my band Boys on Block with Abs and Dane. And we had this, our normal driver wasn't around, so we hired this other driver. It was absolutely fine on the way up. And then we was doing a gig, then he got drunk and the driver got drunk. And he didn't know he was getting drunk, he was on stage performing. So we came backstage.
Avi, Tochukuno sympathy.
To do, to take selfies with the crowd and stuff like that. And then the security guard came and got us and said, can you come backstage, please? So we're thinking, what's going on? So we go back, and they explained to us that our driver's got drunk and he's got into an argument with the security because he's trying to bring some girls backstage or something like that. This guy we never met, we didn't know this guy. So we lose our minds because it's a great gig and we don't want any problems with this gig, and and there's some random driver that we'll never see again, you know, to do this. He'd obviously never been on a gig before and he must have just got so excited and didn't know what he was doing. So anyway, I say that incident to say at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from Vanessa and she says to me, Ben, where are you? I'm like, I'm in bed. Why, what's going on? So I think something's wrong. She goes, well, when you come home, I've packed your bags and I'm leaving and your bags will be outside the door. And I've got your key because you forgot your key. I've got the key and don't ever come back to my house again. I'm like, You said to a girl last night, made a sexual proposal to her. I said, what? I'm half asleep. I'm like, what? No. And then I call her on FaceTime. And I say, look, I'm in my room, like, there's no one here. Like, what are you talking about? No, you said to this girl, blah, blah, blah. It sounded like you, so I think, I'm going to call it a day now, a relationship. So, and I couldn't believe it. So I said, no, I didn't. I said, we had a massive problem yesterday. Our driver got drunk, and we had to sort the whole thing out. And then he killed the night for us, basically. Driver was drunk. He just put her down on the whole night. The security were angry with the driver. This and that. Let's go back to the chalet and have a drink there. You see, when someone ruins the night, it goes on a massive down. I said, so that's what happened. So I remember that night. He said, no, the girl said you said it. I said, so someone texts you at 4 o'clock in the morning, a drunk girl texts you, and you believe that over me saying, but because of the tenterhooks of the relationship, I get it, but it's like they're at this holiday resort. They've been drinking for three days straight. And Vanessa answered her back and said, did you sleep with him? And she said, no, but I could have if I wanted to. Really? I'm going to be taking selfies with about 200 girls and Dane and Abs, and I'm just going to go, yeah, da-da-da, I'll just go off and sleep with you. I said, think about it. How would I have done that? I would never, I'm just taking selfies with people. That's what the new autographs are, aren't they? They're selfies. So that was that. So anyway, so I come home, bags outside the door, can't get into the house. So I have to book a hotel for 3 weeks. Meanwhile, I'm trying not to tell anyone that Vanessa's chucked me out of my house for 3 weeks and this and that. I don't want to tell my sisters, I don't want to tell my brother, I just wanted to kind of do that. And then by the 15th of December, Vanessa wanted to bring the children to come along and watch the show. They come along, and me and her make up, and okay, cool. She chucked me out. She still was believing the girl on social media. That I still till this day don't know where it came from. But I have had a conversation with Vanessa who she says 100 girls came out and said that they've slept with you.
That's where I got the figure 100 from.
Right, yeah. That's what she said. She had 100 girls. You know how many DMs I've got with girls saying that they've slept with you? And then she made the mistake of sending me a girl, because she keeps defending all these girls and hiding their names and all that business. She made the mistake of sending me one girl's name. And oh my gosh, this girl, I don't think she'll even go back on social media. What I told this girl was like, how, I just won't even repeat it. But nevertheless, this girl made up this thing that I was always trying to chat her up and she knew me and this and that. I wouldn't know this girl from a can of paint. I don't know. I don't have that, so I'm confident with it. It's not 100 girls can't come and say, I said, why are you believing like these are random people? The fact you're even answering. I said, the first girl said I said something, right? Then you've told me that another girl said I said exactly the same thing to her, right? It's 2 days later. What am I, a robot? I just go around saying this one thing to girls. I said, they're obviously mates, and you've responded as a celebrity, and so they've picked up on the fact that you've responded, and now they're all doing it. These are a group of girls from this holiday resort. They've been drinking for hours. It's not real. But when your relationship is broken and you're on tenterhooks because there was a mistake that was actually made, even I get it now.
You're on the back foot.
You're on the back foot all the time, and everything, you're guilty now. You're guilty all the time, every single time. So we maybe should have never even carried on from that point. But I wasn't to know that that was going to happen. Anyway, this stalker got really angry because I blocked Vanessa's phone, hidden certain words in her phone, so she couldn't type, because this girl's like an imbecile, and she types in a certain way. And I say all these names because no, I don't like her, and I think she's a horrible, horrible bit of work, and I think she should have been sorted out by the Metropolitan Police years ago. But they're never going to do anything. I went into Scotland Yard. I said to the policeman, he types in her name. He goes, bloody hell, when he looks on the computer. I reported her. No, in fact, I went into Essex Police first and reported her. they went silent. Yeah. So well, it's not really our case. It's kind of should go to the Met. So we're going to transfer it over to the Met. This girl's ringing me 100 times a day. Keeps on ringing me. Didn't think of changing my number because I'm all over the place. I'm not even thinking straight. I'm going from hotel to hotel with my mind all over the place because me and Vanessa had split up at that time. We split up in a taxi that was going to, we were due to go to a friend's birthday party.
And that was the final, that was the end.
Yes. We were due to go to a friend's birthday party. We're sitting in this taxi. Then you do know this person. I clutch at straws. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, I'm going to absolutely go mad at this girl. This is crazy. And I knew my relationship
was done.
Yeah, and I knew it couldn't survive it. And I told this girl way too much, like an oversharer, that don't do that, please, because it won't end well for my relationship. And I didn't think I'd done this girl anything bad, apart from entertain a few nudes and have a few sex texts, but not, it's cheating, but it's not like I've done anything with her.
If the roles were reversed, what would you have done, be honest? If Vanessa was accepting nudes from men, oversharing and sexting,
I'm not.
Would you have forgiven her? Food for thought.
There's a few things that I let slide from Vanessa. A few things I let slide. I was told twice that she'd been unfaithful to me. Twice. By members of her family and her best friend.
And did you choose to ignore it or did you investigate?
I questioned it. She said to me, they're horrible people, they're just saying that. I said, but why that particular thing? I said, but why that? They could have said anything. Why did your best friend and your sister say the same thing?
So did you choose to disbelieve it so you could continue a happy life? Because if you don't see it with your own eyes or hear it with your own ears, you can pretend it hasn't happened.
I don't know what, it's just, I believed her. Okay, well, happy. It just didn't sound right to me.
But it weren't all one-way traffic is what I'm just trying to work out.
Yeah. No.
There was accusations from both sides.
Yeah, it wasn't smooth saying. She wrote really horrible things about me in her book. But in this car, she says she jumped out of a moving car and hurt her leg or something like that. We're in this car, and she goes, right, stop the car. I want to go. The driver, she said to me, who is it? I said, it's an ex-girlfriend. She goes, what? You've been seeing this ex-girlfriend? And then I said, no, I'm bringing this ex-girlfriend into it for no reason. And then I said, no, it's this girl called Yelda. And she's been stalking me. She's been sending all these texts and I've been trying to stop it and this and that. But she's not right. I didn't know that she's not right, but she's not right. I subsequently found out she's got a history with loads of other male celebrities but I'm going to go to the police. I said, because those celebrities don't like police.
Okay, I'm going to end this soon, guys.
But I'm on this playing citizen.
Oh my
I'm going to go to the
God.
police. And I told you, I said, I'm going to go to the police because I've not done a crime in my life. I've never been in a police station up until recently. I just never happened to have been that way. I've never gone that way. Sensible guy, everyone knows me. I'm almost at the point where I could be boring. I just never got involved in anything that I shouldn't have done. Never really did. I knew people that did it, but I wanted to be a musician from when I was very, very young. I got into the music industry. All I wanted to do was be on stage and sing. That was it. That was me. And anything that was crimey and this and that, I stayed away from. So I said, I'm a normal citizen. I can go to the police, although fat lot of good that really did, but nevertheless.
Is it still an ongoing investigation?
It's still ongoing, but I've got no faith in it.
And is she still stalking you?
Not that I know of. Every now and then I get like a horrible message, but that could be anyone. Because she never uses her real account.
And did she stop once the police got involved?
Yes, well, she stopped when they arrested her.
What was she arrested for? And what evidence did they have?
Asking the right
I
questions.
gave them my phone. And I had all the messages and stuff like that. But in order for them to do that, So basically, I went to Essex Place. It took months for it to get to. Meanwhile, she's still ringing and doing stuff. It took months for it to get to the Met Police. In the meanwhile, she's stalking me. I'm doing a play called Tony and Tina's Wedding in Stratford. She starts stalking all the staff and calling them all names and having arguments and stuff like that. And then she cornered a friend of mine and made disparaging remarks about her baby. I mean, this girl's evil, really evil. So this girl phones her and lets her have it. Then she runs to the police and says, "Oh, this girl is threatening me. She's threatening me." So then this girl gets called into the police station. This girl, like a friend of mine, but I've only met her in real life 3 times. Right? She gets called into the police station. I get called into a police station. So I sit down with this PC and I now have to go and pay for a lawyer. They said, "Go in with a lawyer because you don't know what they're planning to do. The police saying they want to see you. You don't know what this girl's capable of, what they're going to do." So I have to book a solicitor. I go in, the day before we go in, we're having a conversation about what will be said when I go in the police station, the evidence and stuff like that. This girl is ringing me 100 times in front of the solicitor. So the solicitor's there, right? Then we go in the next day and the policewoman says, "Well, you know, you've been calling her out online," because I was saying there's a girl called Yolda that's stalking me, and I was playing like hundreds of calls on my phone. Put down the phone, wait till 20 seconds later, the phone rings again. There's actually a clip on TikTok now. If you put in a girl called Yolda stalker, it comes up.
If she sees this interview, will she come gunning for you again, do you think?
I couldn't care less.
She will obviously watch this because she's got a fascination with you, to say the least. Are you hoping that by her watching this, it will be the final nail in the coffin for her to just leave you alone for good?
I've come here to speak to you, Liam, because I'm going to get married this year, and I'm very, very happy. And I want to leave all of this baggage there. I don't want to carry this into my new life. I want to leave it. This is a safe space.
Okay, that's enough. He's told us about the breakup. Bear with me. Let me just turn the camera around. Oh my God, Vanessa. You see, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I have to admit, this took way longer than I thought it was going to be. But it was so entertaining. I don't know if he will agree to come on a live with me, guys. I am probably too small fry for him. Maybe if you guys help me grow my channel, I would love to book him because this guy is delusional. I was very, but even as long as it was, I was very entertained. Oh, interestingly enough, he's also dating another white woman, but she's slimmer. I think she's quite young. Let me get her name. Let me check. I saw it briefly, but because I don't care about these people, I didn't bother to check. But I'll get the name. Give me 1 sec. Did you guys enjoy it? I thought it was hilarious. Let me get her name. Ben Ofoedu. When I saw it was an Igbo man, I was so embarrassed. I was like, ay. Let me see his fiance. I know it's a white girl, that's for sure. And she looks like Vanessa in a way, blonde. The internet is messy. Her face keeps, but even though he's getting married, his new fiance's face doesn't come up. It's Vanessa. I'm sure he likes that. This girl looks like Vanessa, like 20 years younger. Ooh, Vanessa. Okay, I found an article. I don't know if this is true. Let me read it out. Vanessa Feltz ex Ben Ofoedu is dating another woman, and there's a cruel twist. Ooh, I love this type of mess. The fast and small star admitted to the cheating on Vanessa 2 years ago, leaving her heartbroken and walking away from their 16-year relationship. So he has moved on with a reality star called Precious Moore. No, wait, actually, no, sorry. Oh, sorry, my bad. He's dating a 29-year-old aesthetics expert from Carlisle, also called Vanessa. You couldn't make this up. And they're getting married apparently. And I don't blame him. I get the impression that he wants children. So obviously, the first skinny blonde white woman he found, he's going to lock it down quickly and get married. The girl's pretty though. Wow. Wow. Yeah, he's dating a blonde white woman called Vanessa and she's 20. 29, 30. I think they're getting married this year. I recall seeing that somewhere. He's getting married to her. That must be a hot slap on the face to Vanessa. It would not surprise me if he did that ish intentionally. And this is why Vanessa is spiraling, guys. At least, look, the reason I did this recap is because, yes, I want to drag Vanessa because she deserves it. And if listening to this waste man talk, and I'm sorry for calling him a waste man, but I don't know what else would you call someone like this. The lack of accountability, the way he was BSing, it was just a mess, right? And if you understand why these women are so pressed, you can understand why they won't leave Megan alone. Vanessa spent her first, I mean, I was not aware of her in the 90s because I was a kid. But like from the stories I've read and from the pictures I've seen, don't worry, I've chosen an hilarious picture for this video's thumbnail. From the videos I've seen, from the pictures, from the things I've read, Vanessa is a mess. You know, she's a joke of a presenter. She's been obese all her life. And again, I'm not trying. People are struggling with their weight. This is not about me attacking her. I am not skinny and I am on my own weight loss journey. But my own point is these challenges, if you are well adjusted, should make you come out the other side as a better person. So it's very fascinating to me that Vanessa suffered public humiliation and embarrassment in the 90s, 2000s, hell, even the 2010s, and in the 2020s. And she is still a bitter... You all know what I was going to say. It's like, Vanessa, you're almost 70. Or you're 70, right? You are too old for everything you are doing. Her show is about to be cancelled, as we all laughed about. And well, I mean, TNO, you never know, you know, these types of men who don't take any accountability. There's a lot of these black men who are more interested in getting white girls for image things. Do I have any doubt that he would cheat? Of course not. I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't cheat, but he's 54. A lot of these men act like idiots, and then when they are old and they are about to die, they look for somebody who young to cater them in their old age. I think he wants to settle down with a family with this young white woman. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, she looks a lot like Vanessa. I mean, it's the audacity comes in. It is the absolute audacity. A lot of these men, and I'm sorry to say this is black men, but I think we can be honest here. They have their preferences. And you see that a lot in the UK. They don't want to be around black women. No, they want their white girls. And then when these white girls embarrass them and show themselves, all of a sudden they remember they are black. And they start running to us. Did you guys, are you seeing what's happening to Shannon Sharp? Never made eye contact with a black woman. Now the 54-year-old is being roundly humiliated by an 18, 19-year-old. Now, all of a sudden, he remembers that he's a black man. He's letting all of us know that Busby likes to go after black men. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like, what do you want us to do for you? What would you like us to do for you? You know? Ben Ofoedu is a waste man. I had no interest in his story. I was just here for the Vanessa embarrassment of it all. And I have to say, I got way more than I intended, right? I got way I think we all got way more than than we intended. I didn't expect him to be this, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't expect him to be this immature. Maybe that's the part that threw me. I mean, I didn't have high expectations, but the immaturity was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, I mean, Vanessa, sis, don't worry. I think hearing from your fiance, having a bit of an understanding of where your career has gone, I completely understand why you are bitter about Megan Love. I mean, if I was a washed up 70-year-old woman who had a bad marriage and a 16-year working embarrassment with a man who only used me for money and a nice place to live and props and what else? Who just basically used me to enjoy his 30s and his 40s, I would be deeply embarrassed too. Because you see, Ben is a man. We can mock him, we can laugh at him, but the girl he's dating is 29. She probably doesn't really know anything much about his drama. She probably, like me, was too young to know anything about him and Vanessa. All she's seeing is, okay, 6'4" black man. He has some money. He's gonna take care of me. He's about to marry me. We're going to have a family. Bim, right? She probably doesn't give a crap, right? And that's the truth, right? But Vanessa has to sit down and watch the second man that has left her move on very quickly with a more beautiful woman, much younger, more slim. So you can see why Vanessa is slowly losing her mind. And Tochukwu, shout out to you, was telling us in the chat how when Vanessa, Vanessa has always come off as racist to me. She's always come off as a white woman who hates, who, if you give her the platform, she will be a racist, and she is currently on LBC. So Tochukwu's comment did not surprise me at all when he said that she would get black men to call in who will be bashing black women, because women like her who tend to favor black men, I think it gives them some sense of validation, some sense of, oh yeah, right, okay, I can get this man. And it makes them feel good to hear black men insult black women. So it must be very painful for her to see that, oh, okay, contrary to what a lot of these black men have told me about the desirability of black women or black biracial women like Megan, it must be very painful for her that after all the years of hearing all that, a black biracial woman collected what is supposed to be one of the most eligible men in the UK. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Even though Harry does nothing for me, I have seen some other members of the wider royal family. Harry was the best looking one. I mean, come on now. I mean, who? And please let me know in the chat. Besides Harry from House Windsor, let's call them by their German name. I forget, it's a complex name. From House Windsor, who was better looking? Please, quickly. If you say William, I will laugh at you, because don't do that. William was handsome for maybe 2 seconds. And it was, actually, William was handsome between the ages of 12 and 18. When did he start losing his hair? 19? Something happened to his face when he was 19. Let me check. Because I was going to do, but this video was much longer. I was going to do another live. I was going to do in this live my evidence of your future queen, Princess Catherine's inability to read. But this live has gone on too long, so I'll keep it for the next one. The next one is going to be hilarious. I found all these videos of her. I put it in a playlist where she is reading, and it is hilarious. But yeah, let me check what William was looking like when he was young. Let me check William. Like Prince William. I don't think he was handsome beyond his 20s, Sorry, beyond his teen years. Prince William, age 19. I could be wrong, like I don't remember anything about that, his ugly face. He looks like his Uncle Edward. Have you guys noticed? Uncle Edward, I've heard some tea about him. But I don't know if that tea is true, so I'm not going to waste my time talking about it unless I get evidence. Looking at William now, what's his name? Lewis looks like him a bit, Okay, I'll just say it. I'm looking at pictures of William when he was a teenager. He really wasn't that handsome. He wasn't that handsome. He really wasn't. Why were women thirsty? Not me. Why were women thirsting about him actually? He wasn't that good looking at all. I mean, yeah, he had the hair, but like, the fuck? Harry wasn't. The both of them were. I mean, I think Harry started looking good looking to me when he started dating Megan. Of weight. Then he lost it. I think it was around the time he met Megan. I was like, oh, okay. But other than that, I was like, but yeah. We're not here to talk about that. But yes, guys, I mean, if you enjoyed it, thank you. Please drop a like. Please share. I'm going to put the thumbnail on the video so that people who missed the live can come and laugh with us. Please bear with us on the length. If you've not, I'll put a small short on it. Please bear with us on the length. It's well watching. Ben was hilarious. I wish those of you who joined late, I wish you had joined the live. The live was the best part of this whole chat. I really enjoyed reading everybody's comments. And yeah, I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. Shout out to Ben for keeping us entertained for almost 2 hours. Thank you to Chukul. And thank you for all the tea. It was incredible. If you guys enjoyed the chat, please drop a super chat if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share. The next live we are going to have, spoiler alert, we are going to watch Princess Kate read. Because I'm sorry, I'm moving with the theory that woman cannot read. I'm sorry, and there's evidence. At least as much evidence as I have found. And the reason why I don't feel guilty showing this evidence is just like Megan, since people that report on Megan don't bother doing any deep research, they just gather narratives together and call it fact. I too have found some videos of Catherine trying to read, and I'm going to use it to push my own agenda forward. All right, guys, take care, have fun, and see you next time. I will do the Kate video tomorrow and a quick roundup for the Sussexes. Don't worry, it will just be, and it's going to be also looking at Kate reading. Have a good night, guys, and take care. Bye.